Thank you once again to the team at the news desk. And now we take a break from the news desk for a special interview. And I'm glad to be joined here in the studio by the Secretary of the Llanelli Talking newspaper, John Williams. Evening, John.
Evening, Robert.
I wonder if you could sort of bring our listeners up to speed. We've had a year of great change here. We've gone into digital recording, but I'm sure many listeners would appreciate some background as to how the Talking newspaper service started off.
Well, the Talking newspaper began in 1996. It started, of course, with the public appeal to raise £8,000 to buy the initial recording equipment. The driving force behind the whole project, of course, was the late Mr. Harold Owen, who was a member of the very, very well-known family in the New Dock area who had ironmongers and sold oil, etc. He was quite a character. At the time, he was the telephonist manning the switchboard in the town hall. And he approached Selwyn Samuel, who at that time was the town clerk of the Llanelli Town Council, to persuade him to come on board and help him to set up a talking newspaper. And of course the town mayor in that year was Councillor Mrs. Joy Davis, who agreed then to sponsor a public appeal to raise that £8,000. Eventually, of course, that was achieved. And recording started in December 1976, based, of course, in the committee rooms of the old Town Council offices in the old vicarage in Town Hall Square.
Right, so that was the very first home of the Llanelli Talking newspaper. Yes. But, of course, it moved on, I think, very quickly then, didn't it?
Indeed, it did. I mean, they carried on for a couple of years there. The problem was that quite frequently you'd have ambulances or police cars or fire engines whizzing past with their sirens wailing, and the recording equipment is quite sensitive and picked up all this sort of noise, which meant that we had to stop and rewind and re-record, etc., etc. So that led us then eventually to move to Llanelli YMCA. I was on the original liaison committee of the Talking newspaper, and then, of course, became a liaison officer to look after the administration, and then succeeded Selwyn as secretary. And I also had a foot in both camps because I was chairman of the Llanelli YMCA. And because the YMCA had been receiving such terrific support from local business people, I felt it was the least that we as a charity could do to help another charity, which was the Talking newspaper. And the recording studio was established right up in the attic, way above the street level.
I can well remember that, actually, John, because when I joined the Talking newspaper service, you had to climb, I think, about 6 flights of stairs to get up to the studio, and many of us were left breathless. And I was probably one of the youngest members of the team, but there were some great characters on the team, and I can remember, you know, obviously Harry Davis, Harry Scarlett of Llanelli was involved. Gareth Hughes was a legendary local journalist, broadcaster and author. And I remember the Reverend Dewi Davis with his words of wisdom at the end of each recording session.
Yes. Of course, Dewi provided the epilogue feature for a period of some 19 years, including, of course, on rare occasions when he was a patient in hospital. And we had to take the portable recording machine up so that he could record it from his bed. And, of course, he never once delivered his contribution from written notes. It was always done off the cuff. And he was a real professional. He was given timings through the recording studio window showing, say, a minute ago of 30 seconds or 20 seconds. And being the consummate professional that he was, he always wound up on the dot.
And he had some marvellous epilogues as well that,
Indeed, he did.
that were really entertaining and really grabbed you as well, didn't they?
Indeed. And of course his most famous one, I suppose, which became a national issue, was when he compared Station Road in Llanelli on a Saturday night to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Indeed.
And that, of course, ended up in some of the national press.
Indeed. I can well remember that story because I was actually editor of the Llanelli Star at the time, and we had to cope with some of the fallout of Reverend Dewi Davis's comments about Sodom and Gomorrah, and I had to do a couple of TV interviews trying to rebalance things really for Llanelli and say it's not really such a bad place after all.
No.
But from the YMCA, then we've actually moved to this building, which is almost purpose-built in a way.
Yes, and it was strange in a way. We were in recording in the attic of the YMCA, which was about 92 steps up from the ground floor. And one of the senior newscasters asked me in conversation, as a point of interest, said, how do we get out of this building in the event of a fire? My reply was, the foundation stone of this building was laid in 1909. We've never ever had a fire in this building. Why do you want to worry yourself about that? Unfortunately, he persisted, and I was forced to show them the emergency exit, which was a sheer vertical steel ladder for about 20 feet down onto the roof of what used to be the Llanelli Cinema and is now the Wetherspoons public house. And then from there, down a big steel ladder, which unfortunately stopped in midair because the bottom half had rusted away. And this is something I never disclosed or wanted to disclose to the people who were working there. And I was given an ultimatum that unless I found alternative premises within a month, they'd all go on strike.
But happily, we're installed in much better premises now.
Yes, and thanks to Mrs. Bowen Mercer, a very, very prominent lady of the town, who was a very distinguished magistrate. She responded to my appeal in the Star, which you published as the editor, and within 2 hours of the Star coming out, I was told that we could have the use of an old potato stores down the end of Princes Street, which is where we are sitting this evening. We had a look at the building. We took a lease of it for 10 years, but there was a provision in the lease to purchase the freehold, which meant, of course, that if we did that, we wouldn't have to pay any rent. And I'm pleased to say that the Llanelli Rotary Club coughed up £3,000 to enable us to buy the freehold. Therefore, we live here rent-free. And as a registered charity, we don't pay rates. So our outgoings are very, very small. And that means that any monies that we receive goes entirely on the service. No one gets paid anything at all for taking part here.
If I can describe it just to our listeners, we're sitting here in quite a small room. There's about room for about 3 or 4 people to sit around a desk here in a soundproof recording studio. Our engineer, David Herford, sits outside and can see into the studio through a glass window. We have a red Mic Live sign now saying that we were recording. It's quite a small, compact place, but it's got all the facilities, John.
Indeed it has. The actual measurements of the entire building are 15 feet by 17 feet. And I suspect that many of our listeners who are listening to this particular edition will have living rooms which are bigger than our entire studio. But it's been extremely well designed, and we managed to produce high-quality recordings.
Up to this year, of course, all our recordings have been on tape cassettes, and but this year we made a decision to gradually make the transformation into CD recordings. And it's been quite an upheaval, but it's been well worth it, John?
Indeed it has. I mean, most people will be aware that it's virtually impossible to purchase cassette players anymore. In the 30-odd years that the association has been operating, we have issued over 200 cassette players on free loan. Don't forget, in 1976, cassette players were not that common. But of course, now we've lived through that era. And in moving to digital recording, it's been quite expensive. It's cost us some £25,000. But the results are, of course, that we have the CD now going out to some 71 of our listeners. A lot of our listeners, of course, don't possess the machines to play the CD. But, of course, all new listeners coming on get the CD version.
Get the CD version. And, of course, shortly we'll be online as well. We'll be on the internet. And,
wow, indeed.
And people will be able to listen to us on the web as well.
Yes, and, of course, although, generally speaking, the age profile of our listeners tends to be higher rather than middle age, it's amazing how many of those listeners are CD literate, if I can use that phrase. They've got the equipment to play these at home. Many of them, of course, also have computers. I myself am in my mid-70s, and I've been on the computer for quite a while, so you can teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah, it's excellent. Well, thank you very much, John, for your time. And on behalf of the rest of the team here at the Talking Newspaper Service, I'd like to thank you for all your hard work you put in as secretary. Thank you, John Williams.
Thank you very much.